We live right now. Today is Sunday, November 3rd, 2024. And we're just doing pretty good right now. I had some difficulties with my audio interface, but seems like we're doing okay right now. Turn the camera down a little bit. There we go. See what happens and all that stuff. It's a little under lit, but whatever. We'll go with it. Sometimes you want to get everything perfect and all that good stuff, but right now we're just seeing what we can do with what we have. I just hope that this thing works. Looks like the levels are working great. Everything is looking pretty good. So what are we going to talk about today? Today we're going to talk about some good stuff. We're going to talk about the good old Ethiopian coffee. I am drinking the last bit of Brazilian. This is the fruity Brazilian. I actually enjoyed it quite a bit. I've had it for the past week or so, and it's been going really well, and no real complaints with it. It's just one of those things where when you have a coffee and you test different things out of it, you tend to understand it even more so, right? And I think as I continue to do these wacky, crazy experiments, getting to what that coffee should taste like, it happens a lot faster. And I think that's a pretty cool thing about me testing different things and understanding different things and seeing what brewing really, truly, really is about. I think brewing is one of those things to where it's a little bit more complicated compared to roasting coffee. Roasting coffee, you're just roasting coffee. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's technical. It can get very techy and involved in it. Different beans, different temperatures, different ways to approach it. But for the most part, most people don't have that experience. They're not going to have that type of experience to the point to where they are, let's see. I'm gonna get some more light. I'm just gonna get some more light. Actually, we're not gonna get any more light. We're just gonna see how it looks, and then we'll go from there. But most people don't have that opportunity to test coffee or to roast coffee and to do it different ways and then brew it and then go from there. Most people get coffee, it's roasted, and they have to brew it. They have to trust or not trust that the roaster did it right. And now that I'm like really changing my changing my approach to this whole thing, it's like, it's more telling, I think, when you are there, when you're able to test coffee and love coffee and understand it even more so to the point to where it can be a game, it can be challenging, and it is challenging. And what I'm understanding more than anything is that I'm understanding it from the point of view of people, the way people drink it. And I think that's very telling, that's very enlightening, that's very, what's another way to say that? It gives me that perspective on trying to I understand people a lot more when they try different things and why they do different things. And I'm not saying I'm better than anybody because I'm not. But these opportunities to try and to figure out a coffee, I think I can get there a lot faster, if that makes sense, and be able to present that information to people. That's where I'm at with all of this. And that's something that's going to be cool and telling and all that good stuff, if that makes any sense. So now we're going to be talking about Ethiopian coffees. So now that I'm done with this Brazilian coffee, I have another coffee. I think I got this one from Sweet Maria's, just a small batch, just to see if it's that much different compared to the other ones that I've had from other coffee purveyors, because before it's been more so hit or miss with the previous ones. I'm not going to mention their names, but I do have some other coffee that they did do for me that I went ahead and freezed. And I may bring out some of them in December to kind of see what I'm working with. But for the most part, it's one of those things to the point of like, what do I really want out of this coffee? What kind of things am I really trying to challenge myself with? And then in this case, I mentioned this before, but Ethiopian coffees to me, I wouldn't say they're trash, but they're very disappointing. I did a post a long time ago to kind of kickstart everything, and I still kind of believe that. I do think I had some. It was kind of foggy, muddy a little bit. Just, reason why I'm saying that is because I was using my grinder, my Baratza, and now that I'm using this hand grinder, it is making the coffees a lot more presentable. Even though I'm doing different techniques and tricks and all that stuff, talking to ChatGPT, getting ideas from different people on YouTube and all that stuff about brewing coffee. But the biggest thing right now is that I still feel more so the same about the state of coffee. The coffees are not as exciting as they were before. And I'm trying to see if I'm trying to see if I am being more so if I'm trying to be more so objective with my thinking on this. The reason why I'm saying that in particular is because when I first started in coffee, everything was new. Everything was great. Everything was in a way to where I couldn't really make a mistake, right? Everything was wonderful. I was tasting these coffees for the very first time. And as I was tasting these coffees and enjoying them and seeing them for what they are, it had no choice but to be better, right? But as I'm drinking and buying coffee and roasting coffee and just buying coffee that I didn't roast, I'm still getting that perspective of like, it's just okay. And I really wonder if we really truly hit a peak of what coffee is, what coffee can be. It's like the dodo bird. It's just a shell of itself. It's not even dodo bird. It's not extinct. It's there, but it's not the same. It's like when you talk to a friend or something and you haven't seen them in a long time and they've totally changed, but they're not different. They're different, and you guys have a different type of perspective and understanding towards each other now that you're like knowing each other, talking to each other. It's not the same, right? I don't know that was a good example. It probably really wasn't. But the thing about it is that it's not good. It's just okay. And I'm noticing that a lot of the South and Central American coffees are trying to mimic or trying to present themselves as these African coffees. And I'm not saying that they're doing a bad job. They're not really. But I wish sometimes everybody would stay in their lane. Meaning that you do good in what you do with your coffees. We'll talk about anaerobic stuff another time, but I really hate that stuff. Because if you really think about it, think about this. If you have to do so many manipulations to a coffee, what did it taste like in the beginning? Why don't we put a batch aside and compare it to the heavily processed coffee and see what the real big difference is, right? Can we really get to the point to where we are really truly understanding that coffee? That's where I'm at with this. And Ethiopian coffee is my gateway drug. I'll tell you a little bit more about the situation with me. My first iteration of my coffee business was named A&L Kaffa. Okay. That's still part of my email because it's easier to do it at with Gmail and all that stuff. And why change it? It just still works. I'm just kind of holding on to that nostalgia thing. My kids don't care. But A&L is the first initials of my kids' names. And then Kaffa. Kaffa is the first region that coffee was ever found in Ethiopia. You can go into details about that. You can look it up and all that good stuff. But I wanted to pay homage to the motherland, to the origin of the coffee, but also like use my kids in a certain way to where we're taking this lineage of coffee into the future. So that's the name of mine, and it came from Ethiopian coffee. I love coffee. I've loved coffee for a while now, right? But something about that Ethiopian coffee, especially from the very beginning, extremely magical. When you can get like lemony type of taste from a coffee, and it wasn't offensive, even though it was one notey, but it was still magical. And then it had different ones, and then you go to Kenya, Rwanda, Tanzania, all these different places that had these like fruit bombs that just exploded in your mouth. And most of them were washed too, which you understand if you get an amazing fruit bomb from a coffee that's washed, it's pretty good. You get them from naturals all day long. I think this one is a natural. I can't remember. It's Ethiopian that I'm about to partake in to enjoy, to see if I can figure it out. So, for the longest, Ethiopian coffees were my jam or my thing, and then they were things to the point to where I based my identity around this type of coffee. Kenyan was there too. I had a really badass Kenyan. It was kind of weird though. Somebody thought I remember it got to the point because I got a big bag and I didn't really sell a lot of it. And I was tired of drinking it. It was a Kenyan. It was a natural processed coffee. It looked like it was like a wet process. It smelled like Starburst. It tasted like Starburst. It really did taste the same. But somebody thought that coffee was just messed up. It was truly nice, especially as a dark roast. But Ethiopian coffees are my jam. They're my jam. They're my thing. And it was quite amazing what we can do with those coffees to understand them even more so. And as the years kept going by, they stopped being exciting. They stopped being magical. And I've been chasing that high ever since, right? I've been trying to find that magic in a coffee. Don't get me wrong, I've already had this coffee weeks ago. So now that I'm tasting it again with my new grinder and my new techniques, I'm wondering if I'm putting too much into my thinking and my logic of what this coffee can be. Or is it just going to be the exact same thing that I've been feeling about coffee for a while? It could be. But the only way to really know is to put yourself out there to see what you can learn from this coffee. And that's the thing that I'm trying to really get to. That's the thing that I'm really trying to understand about the state of coffee, because it starts with me in the origin. I see what everybody else is doing. I see that for the most part that we are in a place to where we are tasting and loving and enjoying coffee for what it is. but it can be better. It can be something that is missing. Okay, let me give you another example before I stop this whole high horse of talking about coffee and how it should be better. It's like this. I'm in a construction site, right? And I have this engineer. This engineer has designed this particular water line, or this, I'm dating myself now, this water channel, right? This channel. And they put all the specs, they've gone through the geotechnical aspects of what it should be out there. And everything's perfect and it's great, right? And the thing about it is that now we have a contractor. The contractor is skilled. They've done many jobs for this particular, this person or this company or this business or this governmental agency. And they get the plans and they do the work. And then the work is completed, it's inspected, it's warranted, and all that good stuff is turned back to the client. And then after a couple of years, it starts to erode. Different hurricanes come through, it starts to flood. It's really fucked up. And now the client is wondering, what happened here? We've done all the work that we could in order to make sure that this thing didn't fail like this. And we wonder if it's the engineer. We wonder if it's the contractor not following the plans all the way. We wonder if there's any backhanded side deals or something like that made this not work. Or it could just be natural disasters, nature just taking over, just doing whatever the hell it wants to. But then we go on to the next job, we kind of change things, lessons learned and all that stuff, right? But I guess what I'm getting at with this story is has that happened with coffee? We have so many different people in the pipeline. We have the producer who's producing these coffees, who's probably following this European way, an American way of producing this coffee. Probably this producer is not really listening to the climate, to the temperatures, to how things are changing, but they're listening to this person who's going to pay them about 50 or 60 cents more. And they do the work the way that they think that this person, the buyer who's going to buy this coffee. Okay? And then they make the coffee the way that this person wants to be made. Again, I'm just saying this just hypothetically. I don't know if this is really going on, but I'm just saying this because this is probably what's happening to coffee. This is the thing that we have to truly, really understand about coffee. Where in that part of the chain that it gets fucked up? Because it's not as good as it was. It really isn't right now. And I'm not just saying this just to do a hot take or anything like that. Really taste the coffee. Taste it right now and see if it keeps getting better as you keep drinking it from all over. So where in the chain is the magic going? Where is it disappearing? What is happening to our beloved coffee? Our black coffee drinkers. What is happening here? What is truly, really happening with the coffee that we are drinking each and every day? Because I'm drinking this Brazilian right now. It's cold. It's fine. It's lively. It works. But truly, what is happening in the chain? Where is the fuck ups happening? Because think about it. If somebody does something the right way, clinically, the right way. And then they give it off to another chain. What's the next thing that happens? Are they following protocol? Are they understanding what they're doing? Are they just using a checklist in order to truly, really just be done with the process? That's where we're at with all this. That's what I am thinking or sensing, or I don't know really, because at the end of the day, it's not as good as it was. And I can't really do anything about that. The best I can do is roast it the best way that I know how to. And then provide as many brewing techniques and stuff for people. And let them realize or know that enjoy for what it is. Because if we keep going down this route, if we truly, really keep going down this route, our coffees are going to be really shitty. And I don't know what to do about that. That may make me get out this business more than anything. The product isn't as good, or at least stays constant to where it is right now. That's probably the only thing that will probably get me out this business. Because at the end of the day, you want to present a product to where it's for the people. It's where they're enjoying it. Because they drink it every fucking day. Every day. So let's help people out. Let's see how we can do what we can do. And all I can do and say for the most part is like, hey, this is what I'm tasting. It's not as lively as it should be. And I'm not here to really tell you what to do. I'm just letting you know from my side of the channel, of the chain, of what I'm tasting in the end product. Because truly all I can do is roast it from you and then brew it from you. Those are the only things I can really change. But if it comes in the way that it comes in, then I can give you the information, the input of what I'm actually seeing and tasting. So what does that really mean for this week? I don't know. I truly, really don't know. We're going to see. We're going to see what we can really get out of this coffee. We're going to see and test ourselves and challenge ourselves to see if, for the most part, if we don't have to like jump through hoops of making something like this truly, really magical. Because that'd be kind of cool to just have a basic recipe and you brew it and it's magical. That's really what I want, but we'll see. We'll see if that happens. So that's what I got for you for today. There's a lot of pressure on this particular Ethiopian. I may have to do that. I may have to get a couple different African coffees to kind of just see if the magic is still there. I may have to do that anyway. So that's what I got for you today. I hope that you enjoy this. We're going to keep figuring things out, understand the things that we're trying to do. And I will talk to you later. Bye.